Hi everyone, this is MSY's Research Notes. Today I'm dealing with the methodology part, especially the measurement, because I used foreign language enjoyment scale and also audio recordings, as well as semi-structured interviews to collect data that I need. So I've already finished the questionnaire part because you can see that from other essays. A lot of scholars, they have already used this questionnaire, so I can just directly imitate the way that they describe this measurement, this way of measurement. However, in the second part of the measurements in my own essay, I focused on the audio recordings. And the audio recordings served for several kind of functions. The first is capture the teacher behaviors, the near-peer dialogic teaching behaviors. And the second is to capture the moment-to-moment fluctuations in foreign language enjoyment. So, and there are also other functions. For example, to check the implementation fidelity in both experimental and control groups. So in this part, I need to explain how audio recording is used and how it was coded for different categories. So this is the part that I'm still revising because right now in the field of foreign language enjoyment, I seldom see scholars use audio recordings to capture the behaviors. So for example, the wordings or the descriptions or the expressions that I need to use in my essay, I am feeling a little bit confusing. I'm feeling a little bit confused because I don't know how to describe it properly, and I'm still in the process of learning. And hopefully, I will finish this part tomorrow because I only have a morning course tomorrow. So I think I could have plenty of time further revise this part. And today I want to share with you some essays that I have read about in the research assistant process. I will just introduce with you several essays because right now I have finished coding or labeling more than 100 essays just within like 2 weeks. So I think I am also very productive, and I think I can finish that on time. I can finish this task on time, which is mid-May. So today I'll just introduce several essays, just following the overall sequence from the first one to the last one. So the first one that I have labeled is chatbot-based training on logical fallacy in English as a foreign language argumentative writing. So the author is a Chinese, and his surname is Zhang, Miss Zhang or Mr. Zhang. And that article was published in 2023, which was a very early one. So you can see you can see how sensitive this author is, because just after the publication or the release of ChatGPT, this author has already finished writing this article about generative AI. So you can see the sensitivity, or just like the sensitivity of the development of academic research. I think this author is very sensitive, and he or she can capture this trend or the growing or the developing trajectory of academic research, and this is why he or she could publish this article so rapidly. And this article is an empirical study, and the name of generative AI is not mentioned or is not clearly mentioned. And the utilization of generative AI is to support the learning process. I would make I'll make like a how to say that? Let me think. Distinction. I forgot that word. Let me check it out. Make a distinction. Make a distinction. Well, it's just make a distinction. I'll just make a distinction between support the learning process and support the writing process. Support the learning process, basically you can know from the goal or the purpose of using generative AI. If you use this for the purpose of learning, for example, in this essay, generative AI is used to learn logical fallacies in the writing process. So this is labeled as supporting the learning process. But you can see many other essays, they use generative AI as a kind of tool to give you feedback and tell you how to polish your writing while you're writing or after you write an essay or some various types of writing work. So for those studies, they are labeled as supporting your writing process because your purpose is not to learn some new things. Your purpose is to revise what you have written down. So you can just have a clearer understanding of the differences between those two concepts or those two labels that I will introduce probably in my future research or in my future videos. And the educational level, the participants are all university students, and I think the author clearly pointed out that they are undergraduate and postgraduate students. So the learning environment is within lesson. It means that this experiment is conducted within the lesson or within the curriculum, so students do not need to probably finish a kind of task after class. Well, I'm not quite sure why my senior student and that PhD students that I've mentioned in my previous videos, I'm not quite sure why he made this label here. Because I'm not quite sure why we need to label whether it is conducted within the class or out of the class. I do not quite understand the meaning or the purpose of doing this, but I just, as a research assistant, I would just, follow that. Well, probably one of the reasons is that we need to write a literature review, so we are not sure what kind of details should be included in our essay. So at the beginning part, just before writing, we will just include as many details as possible because we are still in the process of data preparation. So this is probably why we labeled the learning environment. In the number of participants or the number of texts. Why we say texts is because, or essays or articles, or just we say that texts. The texts, they are labeled as like participants because some essays they analyzed students, some essays they analyzed texts. So we just combine them together. So this category is about the number of participants or the number of texts, TEXTs. So so this is let me see, where is this? Okay. Wait a minute, I cannot find this. Oh, it's here. So the number of participant or texts here is less than 30. And the time span is 5 to 8 weeks. Well, I don't know how the PhD student, made this label. I'm not quite sure why he just labeled as 5 to 8 weeks. Well, probably it's because it's just like 2 months. Because 4 weeks, constitute a month. So probably this label means this experiment is conducted within 2 weeks, 2 months. Sorry, 2 months. But more than 1 month. So the next label is the methodology. Whether the methodology is used as qualitative or quantitative or mixed method. So this essay is a mixed method experiment. So the source of the data, includes the first students' writing sample. The students' writing works, and also questionnaires and interviews. Those are some kind of common sources that I can think of, but probably in my future videos about other essays that I have read about, I will introduce other ways or other sources of data. For example, like audio recordings or screen recordings, and also just other ways of collecting data. And some of them I have never heard of, and I have learned something new in this process of reading other people's essays. So for this essay, it just included students' writing sample, questionnaire, and interview. And the next one is the theoretical perspective. And you can see that this generally... wait a minute, I need to reply to a message. All right, sorry, mate. I need to reply to a message because it was my mom. My mom was going to sleep because it's 11:16 late at night, so I need to say goodnight to her. All right, let's continue our introduction about this essay. So the theoretical perspective is unclear in this essay. Oh, wait a minute, I still need to reply that. All right. Generally, we will just find some keywords. For example, we will retrieve like theoretical background or theories or some other keywords. We'll retrieve those keywords in the essay and try to find whether it is clear or not. So in this essay, the theoretical perspective or theoretical background is unclear, or probably just because the author, he or she just didn't mention this, or probably they used a kind of model instead of the theory. So this is the theoretical background for this essay, and the theme of the study is the design of a software or a tool. So it's just like they made their own application and used this in the real classrooms. So the specific research question for this essay, the author, she or he didn't just raise a research question like research question 1 or research questions 2. So we just concluded the aim of the study. So here, I'm not quite sure whether I just concluded this research aim by myself or I just copied from the original context. But the research aim is that the researchers developed and also implemented a kind of training which utilized a 5-week training which utilized their self-developed chatbot to train or to impart some knowledge about the logical fallacy to students. So it means that in this training process, they utilized their self-developed application to teach students about the logical fallacy that is commonly that are common in the second language writing. So after this kind of training session, they checked whether such a kind of training can have an impact on Chinese English as a foreign language students, undergraduate and postgraduate students, whether this process can enhance their writing ability about the argumentative essays, and also whether this training process can improve or enhance their self-efficacy. The self-efficacy is just like a kind of term. Self-efficacy, just like you can understand it as confidence. Whether you are confident about writing or whether you're confident about polishing your words. So this is just like you can to some extent just understand it as whether you can control this process, whether you are confident about your ability, or whether you are confident that you can handle this or deal with those problems that you encounter in the second language writing process. So this is the essay that I want to introduce today, and I think although I haven't introduced it thoroughly or in extreme detail, but after this coding process or after introducing this essay to you, at the same time reviewing and retelling this essay to myself, I think I can have a better understanding of what the teachers or what the researchers have done in this process. So this is just like what I have today. And at last, I want to lay the three courses. The first is BAAL and Second Language Research Forum. I do hope to be accepted, and I only have a week's time because BAAL, according to the official website, the outcome of acceptance or rejection will come out at the end of April. So today is April the 23rd, so I'm waiting for the good news. All right. I do hope to be accepted, and once I am accepted, I'll immediately register and immediately buy the plane ticket, no matter how expensive they might be. All right. And also, I want to tell you another reason is because I have already been accepted by Eurocall, and Eurocall is held at the beginning of September, and the time is very close to BAAL. So if I could be accepted by BAAL, I think I would save more money because they are held near the same country, and the conference dates are also very close. So I just need to buy a single plane ticket. So it's much cheaper than flying to another country. And I think this is a good sign. It's auspicious one. So since I've been accepted by Eurocall, and I think I have already seen this kind of invisible trend, which is constantly pushing me forward to be accepted by BAAL. So this is the first course. And the second course is I am writing near-peer dialogic teaching and other essays. And also I need to submit a short paper to Eurocall. So I do hope to be accepted, all those essays to be accepted by those most famous or most advanced journals in the world. And the third is that I will apply to Oxford or Cambridge several months later. So I do hope that eventually my dream will come true and I will be accepted. I will be accepted by Oxford or Cambridge. So these are the courses that I want to say here, and this is the end of today's research notes. So this is MSY's research notes. See you tomorrow. Good night.